Philistines. The ancient adversaries you thought were long forgotten are now at the center of some of the most explosive biblical prophecies. Could these notorious enemies hold the secrets to unraveling end-time mysteries? Prepare to challenge everything you believe about prophecy and history as we uncover the controversial truths about the Philistines. To truly grasp the Philistines' significance in biblical prophecy, we first need to understand who they were and the world they inhabited. The Philistines emerged around the 12th century BCE, settling along the coastal regions of what is now modern-day Israel and the Gaza Strip. They were part of a larger group known as the Sea Peoples, a confederation of naval raiders who migrated across the Mediterranean, bringing with them advanced technologies, distinctive cultural practices, and formidable military tactics. Culturally, the Philistines were remarkably sophisticated. They established 5 major city-states: Gaza, Ashkelon, Ashdod, Gath, and Ekron. Each of these cities functioned as independent entities, yet they were united under a common Philistine identity. Archaeological findings reveal that the Philistines had a rich artistic tradition, evident in their pottery, architecture, and intricate metalwork. Their cities were bustling hubs of trade and commerce, connecting various civilizations across the Mediterranean. This trade network not only facilitated economic prosperity, but also allowed for cultural exchanges that enriched Philistine society. Militarily, the Philistines were renowned for their prowess. They introduced iron weaponry to the region, which gave them a significant advantage in warfare. This technological edge made them formidable opponents against the Israelites, who at the time were transitioning from a nomadic to a more settled agrarian society. The Philistines' military innovations included not only iron tools and weapons, but also advanced shipbuilding techniques, which enhanced their ability to conduct raids and defend their territories effectively. Religion and mythology also played a crucial role in Philistine society. They worshipped a pantheon of gods, with Dagon being one of the most prominent deities. Dagon was considered the god of fertility and agriculture, reflecting the Philistines' agrarian aspects. However, their religious practices often clashed with the monotheistic traditions of the Israelites, leading to significant cultural and theological tensions. These religious differences were not merely abstract beliefs, but were manifested in daily life, rituals, and even in the conflicts between the two groups. Key figures from this period, such as King Saul and the legendary Samson, are central to many biblical narratives. King Saul, the first king of Israel, had a tumultuous reign marked by intense conflicts with the Philistines. His struggles against the Philistines are detailed extensively in the books of Samuel, highlighting the persistent threat they posed to the nascent Israelite kingdom. Samson, another pivotal figure, is renowned for his extraordinary strength, which he used to combat the Philistines. His story, filled with personal triumphs and tragic flaws, symbolizes the complex relationship between the Israelites and the Philistines. These stories not only highlight the conflicts between the Israelites and the Philistines, but also set the stage for the prophetic messages that would emerge in response to these ongoing struggles. Prophets like Samuel and Elijah played crucial roles in guiding the Israelites through these turbulent times, often addressing the moral and spiritual failings that led to the conflicts with the Philistines. Their messages called for repentance, faithfulness, and reliance on divine guidance, themes that are deeply woven into the fabric of biblical prophecy. Understanding the Philistines' societal structure, cultural advancements, and military innovations provides a crucial backdrop for comprehending their role in biblical prophecy. Their interactions with neighboring civilizations, particularly the Israelites, created a dynamic environment filled with conflict, competition, and cultural exchange, elements that are deeply intertwined with the prophetic texts we study today. The Philistines were not just antagonists in a historical narrative. They were integral players in the unfolding of events that shaped the spiritual and political landscape of the ancient Near East. Moreover, the decline of the Philistines and their eventual assimilation into other cultures did not erase their impact on biblical history and prophecy. Their legacy persisted through the stories and lessons embedded in the scriptures, serving as cautionary tales and sources of inspiration for future generations. As we explore their role in biblical prophecy, it's essential to recognize how the Philistines' historical presence continues to influence theological interpretations and eschatological predictions in contemporary religious thought. As the Israelites began to establish themselves firmly in the land of Canaan, their presence inevitably clashed with the existing Philistine inhabitants. The initial encounters were marked by a series of territorial disputes, as both groups vied for control over fertile lands and strategic locations. These conflicts were not just about land. They were fueled by deep-seated cultural and religious differences that made peaceful coexistence increasingly difficult. Trade routes that once facilitated mutual economic growth became flashpoints for rivalry. The Philistines, with their advanced ironworking technology, held a significant advantage in manufacturing weapons and tools, giving them a military edge over the Israelites, who were still transitioning from a nomadic lifestyle to a more settled agrarian society. This technological disparity exacerbated the tensions, leading to frequent skirmishes and battles that strained relations between the two groups. Moreover, the differing religious practices further deepened the divide. The Philistines worshipped a pantheon of gods, with Dagon being one of the most prominent deities, while the Israelites adhered to a strict monotheistic belief in Yahweh. These contrasting beliefs often led to cultural misunderstandings and conflicts, as each group sought to assert the superiority of their own religious practices. Prophets within the Israelite community began to emerge, addressing not only spiritual matters, but also urging the people to stand firm against Philistine influences that threatened their identity and faith. This period of escalating tensions set the stage for significant confrontations, shaping the geopolitical and spiritual landscape of the region. The rivalry between the Israelites and Philistines was not merely a backdrop for historical events. It was a catalyst that influenced the prophetic messages and divine interventions that would later become central themes in biblical prophecy. Amidst the escalating tensions and relentless conflicts between the Israelites and the Philistines, a new and vital force began to emerge within the Israelite community: the prophets. These prophetic voices were not merely spiritual leaders. They were pivotal figures who provided guidance, warnings, and hope during some of the most tumultuous times in Israelite history. One of the earliest and most significant prophets to rise during this period was Samuel. Born into a time of great uncertainty, Samuel's life was marked by divine intervention from the very beginning. His mother, Hannah, had prayed fervently for a child, and in her gratitude, she dedicated Samuel to the service of the Lord. Under the mentorship of the high priest Eli, Samuel grew to become a trusted spiritual leader and advisor to the Israelites. Samuel's role extended beyond religious duties. He was a key figure in uniting the tribes of Israel and addressing the internal and external challenges they faced. As the Philistine threat loomed large, Samuel delivered powerful messages urging the Israelites to remain faithful to Yahweh and to seek divine guidance in their struggles. His leadership was instrumental in fostering a sense of unity and purpose among the Israelites, reinforcing their identity amidst the ongoing conflicts. Another prominent prophetic figure of this era was Elijah. Emerging during the reign of King Ahab, Elijah confronted not only the Philistine adversaries, but also the moral and spiritual decline within Israel itself. King Ahab's alliance with the Phoenician queen Jezebel had led to widespread idolatry and the worship of Baal, further deepening the cultural and religious rifts within the nation. Elijah's confrontations with the prophets of Baal are legendary, symbolizing the stark contrast between the true worship of Yahweh and the false idols that had taken root among the people. Through dramatic displays of divine power, such as the contest on Mount Carmel, where fire consumed the sacrificed offerings, Elijah reaffirmed the supremacy of Yahweh and called the Israelites to repentance and renewal of their faith. These prophetic leaders did not operate in isolation. Their messages were deeply intertwined with the geopolitical realities of their time. The constant threat of Philistine aggression provided a backdrop against which their calls for faithfulness and moral integrity gained urgency and significance. Prophets like Samuel and Elijah were instrumental in shaping the spiritual resilience of the Israelites, empowering them to face external threats with unwavering belief and internal challenges with renewed commitment. Furthermore, the prophets served as intermediaries between the divine and the human, interpreting the will of Yahweh and providing strategic guidance in times of crisis. Their insights were crucial in navigating the complex dynamics of warfare, diplomacy, and societal reform. By addressing both the spiritual and practical aspects of leadership, the prophets ensured that the Israelites remained aligned with their covenantal obligations, even in the face of formidable adversaries like the Philistines. The rise of these prophetic voices marked a significant shift in the Israelite approach to leadership and governance. It underscored the importance of spiritual guidance in maintaining national cohesion and resilience. As the Philistines continued to challenge their existence, the prophets' unwavering commitment to their faith and their people became a beacon of hope and strength, reinforcing the Israelites' resolve to persevere and triumph against their enemies. In essence, the emergence of prophets like Samuel and Elijah was a direct response to the heightened conflicts and challenges posed by the Philistines. Their leadership and divine messages played a crucial role in steering the Israelites through periods of adversity, ensuring that their spiritual and national identities remained intact. This dynamic interplay between prophetic guidance and external threats laid the groundwork for the profound prophetic narratives that would later become integral to biblical prophecy and end-time discussions. As tensions between the Israelites and Philistines continued to escalate, several pivotal incidents further intensified their rivalry. These key events not only shaped the course of their interactions, but also left an indelible mark on biblical narratives and prophetic interpretations. 1. The capture of the Ark of the Covenant. One of the most significant incidents that heightened the rivalry was the capture of the Ark of the Covenant by the Philistines. During a fierce battle at Aphek, the Philistines defeated the Israelites and seized the Ark, which was considered the physical manifestation of God's presence among the Israelites. The loss of the Ark was a devastating blow to the Israelites, symbolizing not just a military defeat, but also a spiritual crisis. The Philistines believed that possessing the Ark would grant them divine favor and protection. However, their possession of the Ark led to a series of calamities, including plagues and afflictions, which underscored the Ark's sanctity and the futility of trying to wield divine power without true faith. This incident deepened the animosity between the two groups. For the Israelites, the return of the Ark became a mission of restoration and redemption, reinforcing their reliance on Yahweh rather than material possessions or military might. The Philistines, on the other hand, experienced firsthand the consequences of disrespecting sacred symbols, leading to a complex dynamic of fear, respect, and continued conflict. 2. The Battle of Ebenezer. Following the loss of the Ark, the Israelites were in a state of despair and disarray. It was during this vulnerable period that the Philistines launched another major offensive, culminating in the Battle of Ebenezer. Under the leadership of the prophet Samuel, the Israelites rallied their forces to confront the Philistine threat head-on. The Battle of Ebenezer was marked by strategic planning and unwavering faith. Samuel's leadership inspired the Israelites to stand firm against overwhelming odds. In a dramatic turn of events, God intervened, granting the Israelites a decisive victory over the Philistines. This triumph not only restored the Ark to its rightful place, but also rejuvenated the Israelite spirit, reinforcing the belief that divine intervention was their ultimate strength against their adversaries. The victory at Ebenezer served as a turning point, demonstrating the effectiveness of prophetic guidance and the power of faith. It also sent a clear message to the Philistines that the Israelites were not easily subdued, thereby intensifying the ongoing rivalry and setting the stage for future confrontations. 3. The story of Samson. Perhaps one of the most legendary figures in the Israelite resistance against the Philistines is Samson. His story is a compelling blend of personal strength, divine purpose, and tragic flaws, all of which contributed to the complex relationship between the two groups. Samson was bestowed with extraordinary physical strength, which he used to combat the Philistines on numerous occasions. From slaying a lion with his bare hands to destroying entire Philistine crops with the jawbone of a donkey, Samson's feats became symbolic of the Israelite struggle against oppression. However, Samson's story is also one of vulnerability and downfall. His relationships and personal choices often led to conflicts and betrayals, culminating in his capture by the Philistines. In his final act of strength, Samson brought down the temple of Dagon, killing himself and thousands of Philistines. This act of sacrifice underscored the intense animosity between the two groups and highlighted the devastating consequences of their ongoing feud. Samson's narrative serves as a powerful reminder of the costs of conflict and the intertwining of personal and national struggles. It also emphasizes the role of divine providence in shaping the outcomes of these key incidents, reinforcing the prophetic themes of redemption and divine justice. The rise of King David and the defeat of Goliath, perhaps the most iconic incident that exemplifies the intensity of the Israelite-Philistine rivalry is the confrontation between David and Goliath. This story not only captures the imagination, but also serves as a profound metaphor for overcoming seemingly insurmountable challenges. Goliath, a giant Philistine warrior, taunted the Israelite army, challenging them to send a champion to settle the dispute in single combat. David, a young shepherd with no formal military training, accepted the challenge. Armed with only a sling and a few stones, David faced Goliath with unwavering faith in Yahweh. In a stunning display of courage and divine support, David defeated Goliath, striking him down with a single stone to the forehead. This victory was more than a personal triumph. It symbolized the Israelites' ability to overcome their formidable foes through faith and determination. The defeat of Goliath marked the beginning of David's rise to prominence and further solidified the Israelites' resolve to resist Philistine domination. This incident had far-reaching implications, boosting the morale of the Israelite forces and diminishing the Philistines' perceived invincibility. It also set the stage for David's eventual kingship, which would lead to further strategic and prophetic developments in the ongoing rivalry. The decline of Philistine power. Over time, a series of military defeats and internal challenges led to the gradual decline of Philistine power. The Israelites, under strong leadership and inspired by prophetic guidance, continued to press their advantage. Key battles, strategic alliances, and the unification of the Israelite tribes contributed to weakening Philistine influence in the region. The combined effects of these military setbacks and the strengthening of Israelite society created a shift in the balance of power. The Philistines, once dominant and feared, found themselves increasingly vulnerable and unable to maintain their previous level of control. This decline not only diminished their immediate threat, but also altered the geopolitical landscape, paving the way for the rise of Israel as a significant regional power. The weakening of Philistine power had profound implications for biblical prophecy. It underscored themes of divine justice and the fulfillment of prophetic promises, reinforcing the belief that the Israelites were on a divinely ordained path towards establishing a lasting kingdom. The diminishing Philistine presence also allowed prophetic voices to focus more on internal reforms and future aspirations, shaping the theological and eschatological narratives that would follow. 6. The return of the Ark and restoration. The return of the Ark of the Covenant marked the restoration of Israelite spiritual and national strength. After enduring plagues and setbacks, the Philistines finally relinquished the Ark, acknowledging the futility of their attempts to harness its power without true faith. The Ark's return was celebrated as a miraculous event, symbolizing the restoration of divine favor and the reaffirmation of the Israelites' covenant with Yahweh. It served as a tangible reminder of the importance of faith and obedience, reinforcing the prophetic messages that had been delivered during the height of the rivalry. The battle between David and Goliath stands as one of the most iconic and symbolically rich events in biblical history. This confrontation not only showcases the dramatic clash between the Israelites and Philistines, but also encapsulates the profound themes of faith, courage, and divine intervention that are central to biblical prophecy. The story unfolds in the valley of Elah, where the armies of Israel and Philistines faced each other, separated by a deep ravine. Goliath, a towering Philistine warrior standing over 9 feet tall, emerged from the ranks of the Philistine army. Clad in heavy armor and armed with formidable weapons, Goliath issued a challenge to the Israelites, a single combat to determine the outcome of the impending battle. For 40 days, Goliath taunted the Israelites, questioning their courage and mocking their God. Amidst the fear and uncertainty, young David, a shepherd boy, arrived at the battlefield to deliver provisions to his brothers. Upon hearing Goliath's defiance, David was moved by righteous anger and a profound sense of duty to protect his people. Rejecting King Saul's offer of armor, which was cumbersome and ill-fitting, David chose to face Goliath armed only with his sling and 5 smooth stones from a nearby brook. This choice was not merely pragmatic, it was a deliberate act of faith, symbolizing his reliance on divine strength rather than human might. As David approached Goliath, the Philistine warrior mocked him, questioning his ability to defeat such a formidable opponent. Undeterred, David proclaimed his unwavering faith in Yahweh, asserting that the battle was not merely between 2 men, but between God and the forces of evil represented by the Philistines. With a swift motion, David slung a stone that struck Goliath directly in the forehead, causing the giant to fall to the ground. Seizing the moment, David used Goliath's own sword to deliver the final blow, securing a miraculous victory for the Israelites. This battle was more than a physical confrontation. It was a profound demonstration of faith, overcoming fear, and divine providence triumphing over brute strength. David's victory sent shockwaves through both armies, boosting Israelite morale and diminishing the Philistines' perceived invincibility. It marked the beginning of David's rise as a leader and a symbol of hope for his people, reinforcing the prophetic themes of divine support and the ultimate triumph of good over evil. In prophetic terms, the battle between David and Goliath serves as a metaphor for the struggles faced by the faithful against overwhelming odds. It underscores the belief that divine intervention can alter the course of history, turning the tide in favor of those who remain steadfast in their faith. This narrative not only provided immediate encouragement to the Israelites, but also laid the groundwork for future prophetic messages that emphasized reliance on God amidst adversity. Moreover, the story of David and Goliath has transcended its historical context to become a universal symbol of courage and faith. It continues to inspire countless generations, reinforcing the enduring relevance of biblical prophecy in addressing the timeless human condition of facing and overcoming challenges through faith and determination. Following his legendary victory over Goliath, David's prominence within the Israelite community soared. This triumph not only established him as a hero, but also set the stage for his eventual rise to kingship, fundamentally altering the dynamics between the Israelites and the Philistines. David's ascent began in earnest when he was brought to King Saul's court, initially serving as a musician and armor-bearer to soothe Saul's troubled spirit. David's charisma and leadership qualities quickly became evident. His ability to unite the tribes and inspire loyalty laid the groundwork for his future role as king. However, David's rise was not without its challenges. King Saul, initially supportive, grew increasingly jealous of David's popularity and success, fearing that David's growing influence threatened his own reign. Despite Saul's attempts to undermine him, David continued to demonstrate his strategic acumen and military prowess. He led successful campaigns against the Philistines, earning further accolades and solidifying his reputation as a capable leader. David's victories were not just military achievements, they were symbolic of the Israelites' resurgence and their renewed ability to defend their homeland against Philistine aggression. One of the most significant moments in David's rise to power was his establishment of Jerusalem as the political and spiritual capital of Israel. By capturing Jerusalem from the Jebusites, David unified the northern and southern tribes, fostering a sense of national unity and identity. This strategic move not only provided a central location for governance, but also served as a symbolic gesture of consolidating Israelite strength and resilience against their Philistine adversaries. David's reign also marked the beginning of significant administrative and religious reforms. He centralized the government, organized the military, and laid the foundations for the future temple in Jerusalem. These reforms were crucial in strengthening the Israelite state, making it more resilient and capable of withstanding external threats. David's focus on both military and spiritual leadership underscored the intertwined nature of faith and governance in Israelite society, reinforcing the prophetic messages that emphasized divine support and moral integrity. The consolidation of power under David had profound implications for the Israelite-Philistine rivalry. With a unified and strengthened Israelite kingdom, the Philistines faced a more formidable opponent. David's strategic alliances, both within Israel and with neighboring nations, further diminished Philistine influence and set the stage for future conflicts that would shape the prophetic narratives. Moreover, David's close relationship with the prophets continued to play a crucial role in guiding his leadership. Prophetic counsel ensured that David remained aligned with divine will, addressing not only military strategies, but also the moral and spiritual direction of the nation. This partnership between king and prophet exemplified the prophetic theme of righteous leadership, where governance is guided by faith and adherence to divine principles. David's rise to kingship was more than a personal achievement. It was a transformative period for the Israelite nation. His leadership strengthened the Israelites' resolve, enhanced their military capabilities, and unified the tribes under a common cause. This consolidation of power directly impacted the ongoing rivalry with the Philistines, shifting the balance of power and setting the stage for the eventual decline of Philistine dominance in the region. In prophetic terms, David's rise symbolizes the emergence of a divinely chosen leader who embodies the values and strengths needed to overcome adversity. His story reinforces the prophetic themes of hope, resilience, and the triumph of faith over fear. David's leadership and the unification of Israel under his rule serve as a testament to the enduring belief in divine providence guiding the destiny of the faithful. Ultimately, David's consolidation of power was a pivotal moment that not only shaped the future of the Israelite nation, but also influenced the broader prophetic narratives that continue to resonate in biblical prophecy. His legacy as a warrior, king, and man of faith remains a cornerstone in understanding the complex interplay between leadership, divine intervention, and the enduring struggle between the Israelites and the Philistines. With David firmly established as the leader of the Israelites, his reign marked a transformative era that would shape the destiny of the nation and redefine the balance of power in the region. This period saw the formal establishment of the Israelite kingdom and the gradual decline of Philistine dominance, setting the stage for lasting prophetic significance. First, consolidation of the United Kingdom. David's leadership was instrumental in unifying the 12 tribes of Israel into a single, cohesive kingdom. Prior to David, the tribes operated largely independently, often clashing with one another over resources and territory. David's ability to forge alliances, mediate disputes, and establish centralized governance was pivotal in creating a unified national identity. One of David's most significant achievements was the establishment of Jerusalem as the political and spiritual capital of Israel. By capturing Jerusalem from the Jebusites, David not only secured a strategic stronghold, but also created a symbolic heart for the nation. Jerusalem became the central hub for administration, military command, and religious worship, fostering unity and national pride among the Israelites. Second, military reforms and expansion. Under David's reign, the Israelite military underwent significant reforms that enhanced its effectiveness and efficiency. David reorganized the army into specialized units, improved training protocols, and implemented strategic innovations that maximized their combat capabilities. These reforms transformed the Israelite forces into a formidable military presence in the region. David's military campaigns extended Israel's borders, subduing neighboring nations and securing trade routes vital for economic prosperity. Notably, his victories over the Philistines and other adversaries diminished their threat and expanded Israelite influence. This expansion not only provided security, but also facilitated cultural and economic exchanges that enriched the Israelite society. Third, economic and cultural flourishing. The consolidation of power and military successes under David's rule paved the way for economic stability and cultural flourishing. Jerusalem became a thriving center of trade, attracting merchants and artisans from across the Mediterranean. The influx of wealth and resources allowed for the construction of monumental architecture, including the future temple, which would become the spiritual epicenter of Israel. Cultural achievements during this period reflected the blending of Israelite traditions with influences from conquered and allied regions. Art, literature, and religious practices evolved, fostering a rich and diverse cultural landscape. This cultural renaissance not only strengthened national identity, but also laid the groundwork for the Israelite legacy in biblical prophecy and theological discourse. Fourth, Philistine decline and assimilation. As Israelite power grew, the Philistines began to experience a gradual decline. Several factors contributed to their diminishing influence, including continuous military losses, internal strife, and economic challenges. David's strategic alliances and military campaigns undermined Philistine dominance, making it increasingly difficult for them to maintain their previous level of control. The Philistines faced significant defeats in key battles, which eroded their military capabilities and morale. Additionally, internal conflicts and leadership struggles weakened their societal structure, making them vulnerable to external pressures. Over time, the Philistines were unable to sustain their dominance, leading to their eventual assimilation into surrounding cultures and the fading of their distinct identity. This decline had profound implications for the region. With the Philistines no longer a major threat, the Israelites could focus on internal development and prophetic reforms without the constant pressure of external aggression. The diminishing Philistine presence also shifted the geopolitical landscape, allowing Israel to emerge as a dominant regional power. Fifth, prophetic implications of the Israelite ascendancy. The establishment of a unified and powerful Israelite kingdom under David had significant prophetic implications. Prophets within the Israelite community saw David's reign as a fulfillment of divine promises and a sign of God's favor. The success and stability of the kingdom were interpreted as evidence of Yahweh's active involvement in the nation's destiny. David's leadership embodied the prophetic ideals of righteous governance and divine justice. His ability to unite the tribes, secure victories, and promote economic and cultural prosperity was seen as a manifestation of prophetic blessings. This period reinforced the belief that the Israelites were on a divinely ordained path, with their prosperity and power serving as a testament to their covenantal relationship with God.